Hey everybody, welcome to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa. Today we're doing the very last page of the mini junk journal project. And we're laying down some white gesso here on the last page. I'm just getting some texture. So I'm using an old gift card and I'm just really quickly and not very precisely putting down a layer here and drying it. I don't care so much about coverage. I care more about just getting some texture on the page because I'm going to use a little bit of acrylic paint in just a second here. So if you're new here, welcome. You've caught me in the middle of a journal project. You can watch the other 6 pages that I've made and see how this little project came together. I think it came together really nicely, actually. I'm really excited about it. Um, just putting on some acrylic paint here using the same gift card that I used to put the gesso on. And this is just a craft paint. This is a DecoArt called Purple Pizzazz, which to me is very 80s sounding. I feel like pizzazz was something people in the 80s said a lot. I don't know. That's just my recollection, but yeah, pizzazz. Nobody says pizzazz anymore. And frankly, I'm okay with that. All right, so now we're making sure that our paint is dry because now I am going to find things to collage and we're going to repeat our theme of stenciling from earlier in the book. And this is a stencil from, let's see here, who's this from? Simon Says Stamp, called Geometric Arcs. I've got all the supplies listed in the description below. And to use the stencil, I'm using some Payne's Gray, and I'm just going over it very gently with a cosmetics wedge, just to give a design over here on the right side of the page. And I'm also going to cover the edges of the paper with some of the paint, just to kind of give it a little definition. And, going around the edges here just to kind of cover up any glaring white spots, just add a little more interest in our page. Then I'm going to make sure everything is dry. You always want to dry everything between layers, otherwise you'll get a little bit of a mess. Maybe you want a mess. If that's the case, go for it. But if you don't want a mess, make sure you dry everything. And I'm also returning to one of these fun little early 20th century cards. This one says, he loves me not, he loves me. So dramatic. There are 2 other cards in this junk journal that also feature a lady and a gentleman. And the color of her dress matches the page theme. So she has on kind of a light purple dress, and I'm actually going to put some scrapbook paper behind them just to add a little more, a little more layers. I'm tearing off the edges so that they're very distinct from the background because purple on purple is a little hard to see. And I've also got a very pretty moth image here that is also purple. And so these are the 3 things I'm going to put on this side of the page. And we're going to use our art glitter glue to adhere it. And once I glued this down, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to lay down the other layer. Huh. Oh well, I caught it in time and picked it up and glued it down in the right order. All is well. Also going to glue down our moth. There we go. Clean up any little bits of glue that may have come out on the sides. And now we're going to add a snippet up there. We're using my snippet set number 2. Yet again, you can get your own copy on my Ko-Fi shop or on my website now. Either one. So we're going to grunge up the sentiment a little bit with some vintage photo ink from Distress. And we're going to glue it up near the top. Okay, looking good. So I'm very happy with this side of the page. And now that that's done, I'm going to flip the book over and we're going to make the back cover. I'm going to make the back cover purple as well. And here I am going through some papers and I found this light purple one. It may look a little pink on your screen, but it is purple in real life. I found two actually, and the second one I didn't like as much. And now I'm going to go and look in my purple bits and bobs and see if there's anything cool in here that I can use to collage onto the back cover. And so far I found a really pretty purple rose. First things first though, I'm going to adhere the paper to the cover. And to do that, I'm going to use the glue stick and just lightly cover the surface with the glue. And then very consciously put down the paper so that the edges match up on the top and the right. That way I only have to cut off two sides, and it just saves me a little bit of effort because two sides are already done. There we go. All right, now we have a nice base layer. I'm going to use my scissor handles to, make sure that my fold is nice and even. And we'll glue down the rows. This image is really pretty. This is something I ran through my die cut machine to give it that, scalloped edge. And I'm going to use the Payne's Gray one more time to kind of cover up the spine, which is, was kind of a bright white. It just needed to be grunged up a little bit just to go with the rest of the journal. And then I've got a big box of all kinds of various things. I'm looking for some kind of image or something to put on the very back cover. So we've got the fold done and we need a back cover image. And I found these two tags with moths. They're really beautiful. And I think we're going to go with this one. And we're going to zhuzh all the sides with vintage photo and just glue it down. There we go. Yeah, this was a very quick process. I think I was just ready to be done with this project. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that adhered really nicely. I'm looking at the inside one more time and I'm like, it should have an outline. I used a white pen first, a gel pen, but it didn't want to write. So I pulled out my trusty gold and I've outlined the card with that. And I'm doing a tiny bit of mark making just above the moth. It just gives it a nice finished look. And I'm going to add the date here. And of course, silly me, I forgot to update it to 2026. But that's okay. The day didn't actually stamp. And so I wrote that in and I just changed the 5 to a 6. And here I am updating my stamper so that the rest of this year I'll have the right date. Anyway, there it is. I really enjoyed making this project and I'm really happy y'all were here with me. I'm going to add one more little sentiment to the cover just to give it just a little something else. And we'll grunge it up and paste that on. And then we're done. Completely done. We did all the colors of the rainbow, plus teal. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I really appreciate you all watching, and I will see you next time.